right, it is Wednesday, hump day, and we are posted right here in the cut with you, giving you your Alabama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen M. Smith, Touchdown Alabama Magazine, bringing you the show from the magic city of Birmingham, streaming this to you on YouTube. Speaking of the channel, go ahead right now, smash that subscribe button, hit subscribe right now. If you haven't already done so, get your friends to subscribe so that way you can have all that you crave on your Crimson Tide. Also, hit that thumbs up. Give us a like on the show. Run those likes up. Turn all of those notifications on. Hit that little bell so that way you can have all of your entertainment, alerts, notes, information on your favorite program, that being Alabama football. We got you taken care of on Facebook and Twitter as well. Got a lot to discuss, a lot to get into, a lot to dissect here on the show, as this is a very important day. Two things we honor on this day and we reflect on. Number one, this is the 2-year anniversary of us losing the NBA legend and a leader of men, that being one Kobe Bean Bryant and his daughter Gianna, along with others that were on that plane that fateful day 2 years ago. And today we also honor the life of the legendary Paul Bear Bryant, incredible coach, incredible man of the University of Alabama, passed away on this day back in 1983 after an illustrious coaching career with the Crimson Tide. Among other programs, won 6 national titles at the University of Alabama. His championship runs in the 60s and 70s were second to none. So definitely want to pay homage there where the family and the life of Kobe Bryant is concerned, and definitely the life of one Coach Paul Bear Bryant. But definitely want to hear from you guys today, your passion, your thoughts, your viewpoints, your opinions. You can do this by calling 205-448-1358. The number to call in to let your voice be heard on the show, 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. Definitely want to hear from you. The daily Super Chat goes $75. Daily Super Chat go. Appreciate the love and the support coming from you, the fans. We got my man John Ivory in the production studio doing his thing on today. And we're going to get into right now topic number one of the conversation, John. And this one was kind of crazy to me because last night, as I was getting some writing done, and of course the news came out about Ty Perine, Alabama punter, in the transfer portal. Shortly after that came out, this crazy developing story comes out on running back Camar Wheaton. And one report came out first, and it's been probably the most dominant report at this point, but one report came out first on how Wheaton no longer enrolled as a student at the university and not with the team, or has not been with the team. And that had so many people kind of in an uproar going, what's going on with Wheaton? What's happening with Camar? Hearing that he's not with the team, hearing that he's no longer a student. What's going on? What's happening? Can someone get some type of information on one Camar Wheaton? Because didn't get a chance to see him last year. Didn't get a chance to see what he could provide to the team because of the fact that he got hurt in preseason camp before the regular season even started. So there was all this frenzy here about Camar Wheaton, and I'm trying to get information. I'm trying to get somebody to talk to me. I'm trying to get somebody to pick up the phone, and nobody was picking up the phone at first. But as of today, got a chance to meet with a couple of close sources of mine within the program. So the word coming from them is don't expect to see Camar Wheaton continue his career at Alabama. Now, what was told to me, having some trouble, having some issues balancing out college life away from home. Wheaton, a native of Texas, Garland, Texas, that being. He came as a 5-star in the 2021 class, and the guy that finished his career at Lakeview Centennial High School with over 3,700 rushing yards and 48 touchdowns. So extreme talent, big-time talented running back, but what I was told was having a difficult time balancing college life while being away from home, away from Texas. So it's unlikely that he will make that return here to the Crimson Tide. And it's kind of weird just due to Wheaton's commitment. His recruitment was weird. I mean, no one knew where he was going to go until the last of the last minute when he made the decision to come to the Crimson Tide. I don't even think Alabama knew that he was going to choose the Tide until he made that choice. So even his recruitment was sort of weird. And then with this happening, him no longer being registered as a student, and then him no longer, well, he hasn't been with the team, that's weird as well, especially with U.S. The fans have been wanting to see what could he provide on the field. What could he do on the field? What could he produce on the field, especially when he came in? So many people were excited about the talent he brought, the skill set he brought, the potential of production he could put out there on the table and on the field. And, of course, for some of you, the thought process becomes, was he afraid of the competition? Did the competition scare him off when you look at this four-headed monster at running back Alabama's going to have this spring with Jace McClellan back and Roydell Williams back and Trey Sanders back, and now you have a Jahmyr Gibbs from the portal via Georgia Tech. And Gibbs, to me, kind of an Alvin Kamara 2.0, if you will, with his ability to run the ball strong in between the tackles, the speed in open space once he gets when he gets through the second level of a defense, the linebackers, and of course the defensive secondary, his ability to be a really good pass blocker, and then also his hands as a receiver. So you got Gibbs, McClellan, Roydell Williams, and Trey Sanders. So did the four-head monster here scare Wheaton off? I mean, I know Alabama's also got two other backs as freshmen in here, Emmanuel Henderson and Jamarion Miller. But did the four-headed giant here of McClellan, Williams, Sanders, and Gibbs scare Wheaton off? That's a thought right there. To me, my question is, was Wheaton's injury more than what it was made out to be? That's kind of my thought, because when he hurt his knee, or when he sustained the injury during preseason camp, Coach Saban mentioned one time that he had been rehabbing. He had been working with Jeremy Giselle, Coach Giselle in the rehab department. He'd been working with Jeff Allen, the head athletic trainer. Saban mentioned only one time about his process, his progress in rehab, but my thoughts are becoming, was the injury more? Did Wheaton hurt himself more than what was reported? Did he hurt himself more than what was made out to be in front of the media coming from the coaches? And we'll never know. We will never know what the true story entails, what the true message implies, but it was just kind of weird seeing it last night after Ty Perine hits the portal. You look on your computer, your phone, social media, what have you, and it's Camar Wheaton, high, talented, five-star recruit, no longer with the team. Has not been with the team for a while now. Talented five-star recruit, Camar Wheaton, no longer on the student directory, no longer registered, or no longer as a student at the university. So it's just really crazy. So hopefully everything is okay with him. Hopefully everything is fine with him. But according to people I spoke with, highly unlikely now at this point that he would be back to Tuscaloosa to play for the Crimson Tide. And while it's difficult to see that, at the same time, you didn't see what he could do on the field. So if you didn't see what he could do, what is it that Alabama truly lost? If you think of it like that, because of the fact that he didn't play, we didn't see him, didn't get a chance to watch him, what is Alabama truly losing when you saw what Jace McClellan was pre-injury? Now he's back. You saw what Roydell Williams can be pre-injury. Now he's back. We see Trey Sanders back from injury. We see the potential he has. And then you have a Jahmyr Gibbs, of which can do a little bit of everything on the field in terms of a running back or receiver, and he can even return kicks on special teams. So it'll be interesting to see how this running back room now shapes out with this update here on Camar Wheaton, no longer in the student directory and not with the team. But we're going to go to a break here, folks, in the show. Don't touch that dial, just getting started. When we get back, we go on the phone lines to take your calls, your thoughts, your tweets, your chats, your interactions. I mean, what do you feel about this whole situation involving Camar Wheaton? We talk to you guys after this.
You're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith, brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Get your four-finger bling necklace today by visiting weownthefourthquarter.com. Throw them foes up.
This is Matt Caddell, former Alabama wide receiver, and you're listening to In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith with Touchdown Alabama Magazine. And I got 2 words to say, baby. Roll Tide.
9 players have teamed up and released the Alabama Team Paper, which is a video yearbook they put out for sale direct to fans. Now, for the first time, small dollar purchases from the fans can support the players as a group as well as a great cause, because $1 of every subscription payment is donated to the Boys and Girls Club of America. Be a 5-star fan base and support your team and a great cause with Team Paper. Check it out at teampaper.com/Alabama.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
All right, people, we're back in from the break on a Hump Day Wednesday, #1 form ticket for your Crimson Tide football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. We got a couple of super chats to get to right now, so we start things off with Jimmy Clay in the building. Jimmy the Bad Man Clay, that $25 donation starting us off right there. Appreciate the love coming from him. And then McConaughey comes in here with a $10 donation, showing love from the show. Appreciate Jimmy Clay and McConaughey for the support there. Daily Super Chat Goal, people, $75 daily Super Chat Goal. Appreciate the support coming from each and every last one of you. But as always, the phone line's open, 205-448-1358. The number to call in to let your voice be heard on the show, 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang. We grab this call right here to start the show. You're live on the show. What's going on tonight? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
What's going on, Stephen? Elijah here, man, from Jersey. How you feeling?
Doing great, Elijah, and yourself?
Man, I'm hanging in there, bro. You know, I wasn't really even that shocked, man, to hear about Camar Wheaton, how they said he was no longer on the enrolled in school and things like that. I kind of figured at least maybe 1 or 2 of these guys going to transfer. I mean, if you look at it, you know, last year you had Trey Sanders, you got Roy Dell, you got Jace, then you had Camar Wheaton. Then you bring in a running back like Gibbs. Now, Gibbs is a talent that you really ain't going to keep off the field. And then you got 2 freshmen coming in also. That's a crowded running back room. All these kids are 4-star and higher. So, I mean, if you think about it, the way college football is now, these kids want to see the field. You know, last year we had some freak injuries where it knocked out 3 of our backs, where Trey Sanders got to play a lot, or at the end of the season got to be a big time contributing factor, and Brian Robinson was a big time. Well, he was always the main bell cow for the whole year. But you know, you take an average season where just say you might have 1 running back go down for the year or something like that. People don't realize. I mean, people get upset when they see a kid like this transferring, but just think about it. You got 6 more guys in there that you're competing with. Now, I get it. It's a competitive sport. You should want to compete. But people have to realize when you go to the University of Alabama, it's like almost they have like a brand like Nike. There's always going to be coaches from all over the country coming to cherry pick out of the University of Alabama because they know, first of all, they're a good player. Second of all, they're coached very well, you know. And third of all, they're, even though they might be backups, they can probably be a starter on their team. So these coaches are going to get in these young kids' ear all the time and say, hey, you know what? You could come over here. You don't have to worry about all that 4-5-star competition and might not be able to see the field till you're a junior or a senior. Come over here. We'll get you in the mix right away. You know, I think that was the Keelan Robinson. That was the deal with him. You know, going out there to Texas. It's like, hey, you probably won't get a chance to play over there at Alabama. Man, come on over. Even though I think Keelan Robinson would have been a great addition to this year's team, but it's less competition over there. You know, you got guys like Jace, you got guys like Roy Dell, that if they go to any other school in the country, probably besides Georgia, they're going to play. They're touching the field without injury. So, you know, I'm not mad that Camar I wish we could have seen what he did his freshman year, but I'm not upset that this kid transferred. I mean, he probably looking at it like, I don't want to have to deal with all this competition. Let me go to East Carolina somewhere. Let me go to Vanderbilt somewhere where they could hardly win a game, and I could try to rush for 1,000 yards in a season and up my draft stock. Because we all know 2023, Alabama's bringing in another 5-star running back or 2 4-star running backs. So these guys, man, they just want to see the field. And a lot of fans, they get upset because they're transferring, they call them quitters, but they got to understand the nature of the game now, man. You got to see the field, and people aren't trying to wait till their juniors and seniors to see the field now. You know what I mean? But like I said, I just want to get that off my chest. But, man, I appreciate you taking my call. The show was great, and keep doing your thing, bro.
Appreciate Elijah calling and giving those thoughts right there. Now, Camar Wheaton has not entered the NCAA transfer portal. He's not in the portal. Now, according to reports out there, he is he's expected to possibly enter the portal, but his name is not in there. He has not entered the portal as of yet. I just think that it's kind of weird just seeing how, you know, his recruitment, no one knew where Camar was going to go to until the last second on the second, and then especially Alabama didn't quite know where he was going to go to until he ended up committing to the Crimson Tide. Now, just going back to what Elijah mentioned, there is a lot of competition on this running back roster, a lot of competition in that room, and while we would have liked to have seen what Wheaton could have done and what he could have become, but at the same time, the fact that we didn't get a chance to see what he had, is it a loss now that he more than likely will not remain where the Crimson Tide is concerned? Now, if he does enter the portal, keep your eyes there on Texas. Longhorns could potentially grab that guy up if he pursues the portal. But we got to shout out my man Bill, Big Bill from New York with that $10 donation helping us out here on the show. Appreciate Bill from New York. And then Jimmy Cash Money Big Bad Clay with that $35 donation. Appreciate Bill and Jimmy Clay. That daily super chat goal of $75 has been met. Appreciate you, the Tide fans. Now, we're going to take a call right here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hi, Stephen. Bill from New York.
Bill, what's happening, man?
I'll keep it short this time. Look, you know, if Wheaton wants to go, goodbye. That's my thing. Goodbye. I don't want another Billingsley. You know, I don't want that kind of a problem. I wish him well. I don't wish him any harm. But again, I can't stress enough, like, you know, what I'm worried about is the lines. If our lines work out, I just don't see us losing. I don't see us losing too many games. I don't see us losing even a national title because our lines are what we need. Push up the middle, and I think Saban will get it done. Would you say the lines are our biggest concern at this point after all these these portal guys we signed, Stephen?
Absolutely. I think, Bill, offensive line, that is a huge question because you got to figure out who are the two offensive tackles. Who will be protecting Bryce Young from the left side and from the right side? And then your two guards, absolutely. And then on the defensive line, who is getting that push at nose tackle? Who is getting that push at your two defensive end spots? Now, Byron Young has shown he can generate push, but who is going to be there helping him out? We know what Dallas Turner is. We know what Will Anderson is. But on the defensive line, taking over for Big Phil Mathis, who's off to the NFL draft, who is going to get that consistent push from that line? Absolutely. I appreciate Bill from New York for that call right there. Go ahead,
One
Bill.
more question, if I could. I was just wondering, does TDA ever have, like, you know, a party type of thing at games? Like, do you set up a TDA, like, you know, party, like where like you set something up and we all go to a game?
We haven't done that yet, but that would be something to put there in the bag. That would be something to put there in the bucket there, Bill. Absolutely. Appreciate Bill from New York with that call. TDA party. Definitely would be something to put there in that bucket. But Roll Tide and Rise Up actually had a good thought there in the chat line. And he was talking about Jahmyr Gibbs. He was saying, you know, Gibbs is talented, but coming over from the ACC to the SEC, would he be able to translate? I think Gibbs will. I think he will. When you look at him, he's got an Alvin Kamara type of skill set. He can catch them out the backfield. He's got really good speed in open space. He can put moves on guys, really good hands, good pass blocker, can run the ball with power, can run the ball with speed. I think he brings several tools that, if you're Nick Saban, you can use within the offense. He's a playmaker. Going back to what I've mentioned before, for the running back room, it's going to be who's that 1-2 punch, and then who's the change of pace guy that just throws everything off for an opposing defense. That's why the spring is going to be very intense. It's going to be very fun to watch this competition. Who rises as thunder and lightning, and then who becomes the guy that not many people sense, but he throws a monkey wrench into a lot of the defensive schemes and systems there. So going to be fun to watch this spring where this running back room is concerned. 205-448-1358. But I'm going to call in to let your voice be heard on the show. 205-448-1358. We're going to go to a quick little topic here, and that topic is on Ty Perine, who entered the NCAA transfer portal on yesterday. And this was also kind of another weird one because Perine from Prattville at 6'1", 218 pounds. We saw him come in as a freshman walk-on in 2019. He got in the game, the sixth game of the season against Tennessee, when Bama had some struggles at punter. And Perine hit a 51-yard moonball into the night sky at Bryant-Denny, and fans was like, oh my gosh, did J.K. Scott return? And so Perine flies down the field, you know, makes the tackle, and people are like, is he a punter or is he a safety? Like, what is this guy? This guy's an athlete. And he ends the year, 13 punts, 581 yards, average 44.7 yards a punt, makes the all-SEC freshman team, and just things were looking up there for Perine. And then, unfortunately, he doesn't play in 2020. He doesn't play this past season. Alabama brings in guys like Mike Bernier and Charlie Scott and James Burnap and just other punters ahead, of him. And just, unfortunately, we really not able to see what Ty Perine could have really truly been at that punter position for more than a season. But he's put his name there in the NCAA transfer portal. Definitely wish the best for him wherever he chooses to go to in terms of college football. We're going to go to a break right here, folks, and the show don't touch that down. When we get back, I will project what I think this Alabama defensive secondary, starting secondary, will look like for the spring and the coming season in the fall. We talk defensive backs after this.
You know what we do at the start of the fourth quarter. We throw them foes up. But now you don't have to wait until the fourth quarter. Get your four-finger bling necklace at WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. It's the first and only logo that captures the essence of all Crimson Tide players and fans as we represent the legendary Alabama football fourth quarter dominance. Get your four-finger bling necklace right now at WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. Get yours today and stun on them haters. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, people, back in from the break of a number one source here for your Crimson Tide football news, notes, entertainment, that being in my own words, with yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Appreciate you guys checking us out here on a Wednesday, Hump Day 2. The show, and we're going to look at this defensive secondary, defensive backfield. This is a position group that a lot of U.S. fans excited about, pumped up about. I was talking with the Bama legend of Bama great on just the other day, and he was saying, Stephen, you know, with Eli Ricks in here, kind of intrigued on how will the secondary look? Like, how will it shape out? Who will be the starting 5 or 6 in the spring? Who will be the starting 5 or 6 in the regular season? How will the secondary look and shape out? So I'm going to get into projecting what I feel. And I could be dead wrong, and I'm open to being dead wrong. This is a field in a profession where it's about the entertainment and speaking your opinion. So this is just my projections here on how I feel like the secondary will look for Alabama in the spring, and most importantly next season, especially when you discuss all of its talent in this backfield here. So looking at the corners, I'm going to go Eli Ricks and Kyrie Jackson as the starting corners. I think Kool-Aid McKinstry will be a backup. You play Kool-Aid a little bit in nickel some. You continue to bring Kool-Aid along. But I think Eli Ricks, Kyrie Jackson, your two starting corners. Eli Ricks, he's got experience. Nick Saban does not go into the transfer portal and bring you to Alabama unless he envisions starting you because of the experience that you have. Ricks has 16 games under his belt coming over from LSU. Now, despite the fact that he got hurt this past season, hurt his shoulder, only played in 6 games. In his career, we're talking 5 interceptions, 6 pass breakups. 4 of those picks for Ricks came in his freshman year in 2020. And at 6'2", 196 pounds, the guy has outside leverage. He's got ability to press, to jam, to cover, to run, to turn around and face the football. He's got all the tools in being an outside boundary corner, and all he pretty much needs, one big time year, he's off to the NFL. So Ricks on one side, the other side, Kyrie Jackson. The more I go back, John, and I watch the Cotton Bowl against Cincinnati and the national championship against Georgia, Jackson's got potential. Kyrie Jackson's got potential. Yes, he was called for pass interference on one play. And then, yes, in the national championship against Georgia, he did give up. Well, A.D. Mitchell did catch the touchdown pass from Stetson Bennett on him. But Kyrie had great coverage. I mean, he had perfect coverage. What else could he have done there? I mean, that was just big throw by Stetson Bennett. But Kyrie Jackson had perfect coverage there on that play. And you look at legitimately with Ricks and Jackson having 2 6'2" corners. When you look at how big receivers are now, how physical receivers are now with the size and the body structure, having 2 6'2" or taller corners is a big deal here for Alabama. So I would go with Kyrie and Ricks there as your outside corners. At that nickel spot, Brian Branch. Do not move him. Brian Branch down the stretch of last season put on a show. I mean, he was on a tear. And when he was playing well, DeMarco Hellams was playing well, and Jordan Battle was playing well, and Daniel Wright was playing well. I mean, it all jumped off because of Brian Branch. And I remember talking with Jagan Armour Davis the other day. He was mentioning how Branch is just a straight dog. Brian Branch is a straight dog out there on the field. He wants it. He gets it. He knows it. He understands it. It took him a minute. It took him a while, but once everything began to click in, you see how good he is. You see how talented he is. You see the big playmaker that he is on the back end, not just in covering the ball, but making big hits, coming down, with bad intentions and making those types of plays. So Brian Branch, to me, remains in that nickel spot. As we go to DeMarco Hellams, I know his position, safety on the depth chart, but I would actually take Hellams and move him to dime linebacker. He's more that linebacker-safety hybrid. I would put him in that role that Daniel Wright played this past season, especially if Wright is not returning to Alabama for next season. He hasn't made an announcement yet. He hasn't said anything yet, but if he is not returning for starting off in the spring here, I would put DeMarco Hellams in that role by Daniel Wright because of the fact that DeMarco, his body type, he is more so fit to come down in the box and make those hits in the run game. He's more so come down in the box and taking on those crossers, whether it be tight end on crossing routes, wide receivers on crossing routes. He fits that mold as that box dime linebacker safety hybrid. So I would put Hellams right there, which puts us to our safeties, of course, and that would be Jordan Battle and Malachi Moore. Jordan Battle remaining at strong safety, being the defensive captain on that back end, making the calls, getting the signals out, making sure people in the right spots, having the communication of being crisp. Battle last year had a strong season, 87 tackles, shared the team lead in interceptions with 3, did have 2 picks returned for touchdowns. So Battle, self-explanatory at strong safety. Free safety, Malachi Moore. And he started there at the beginning of the year against Miami and got the interception in that game. So I would put Malachi at free safety. Let him roam the field. Let him play the lower thirds. Let him break on the ball. Let him pick the ball up. Let him do that at that free safety spot. I feel like that's more natural for him, and DeMarco Hellams, it would be more natural for him in that dime linebacker safety hybrid box type of role. But that would be how I would set the secondary. I would have Eli Ricks, Kyrie Jackson at both outside corner spots, Brian Branch in the nickel role, DeMarco Hellams in that dime linebacker role, and then the 2 safeties, Jordan Battle and Malachi Moore. Where Kool-Aid McKinstry is concerned, I would have him come off the bench. I would continue to work with him, grow him, mature him, especially, Eli Ricks, one good year, he's off to the NFL. And then that next year, you can try to put Kool-Aid back as an outside boundary corner. But a freshman name to keep your eye on is Earl Little Jr. Could he throw a curveball into a lot of this? Because as much as I go back and watch his tape coming out of American Heritage High School in Florida, coached by Pat Surtain, Earl Little's got some keen instincts. He's got instincts, high IQ, great talent, very good tackler, very good ball skills, watches the ball, sees the ball, pays attention to where he is on the field in relation to the ball. So if there was a freshman that can really, throw a monkey wrench and really jack some things up in terms of fighting for that playing time, it would be Earl Little at that cornerback spot. But that's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out. Just giving my thoughts on how this defensive secondary could project starting off in the spring and going into the upcoming season. But we take a break here on the show, folks. Don't touch that dial. When we get back, we return to your phone calls, your thoughts, your opinions, your conversations. We get to a dialogue with you, the Tide faithful, after this.
Don't touch that dial. Call in right now as we're taking your calls up next on In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith. Brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Visit WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com now to get your four-finger bling necklace.
This is Chris Rogers, 2009 national champion. You are listening to the baddest, when I say the baddest, sports show in the state of Alabama. In my own words, you know, yours truly, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Don't touch that dial.
Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care. In support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to WhitwellSports.com and get your Title Towel today.
Look at all these great players in Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Man, wait till I turn up this year. I'm gonna be on the front cover. But what if Will goes off? Or Joe, DeMarco, Chris, Tim, Christian.
Don't wait. Order now at touchdownalabama.com or call 833-483-2624 today.
Christian.
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
And we're back in, folks, with the action from the break of a number one ticket, number one form for Bama. Football news, in my own words, yours truly, Stephen M. Smith. Touchdown Alabama Magazine on a Wednesday hump day. Got the man John Ivory in the production studio here. And what's crazy is, to me, before we even go to the phone lines to take your calls have been brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. One more time, 205-448-1358. Alabama men's basketball struggling. I mean, struggling and trying to figure out, you know, what is the issue there? Because this is the same team under Nate Oates that beat Gonzaga. Beat Houston, started the year off pretty strong, got inside the top 10 in the country, and then loses to Auburn, loses to Georgia, loses to Mississippi State. I mean, I'm trying to figure out, like, what has been the issue here with Nate Oates and this group. I mean, I understand losing Herb Jones and Alex Reese and John Petty to the next level, difficult there, but Javon Quinterly, you know, leadership. Jaden Shackelford, leadership. Keon Ellis was on that team last year. Juwan Gary was on that team last year. James Rojas was on that team last year. I'm trying to understand, you got guys that were on that team last season that made it all the way to the Sweet 16, and you look at this team, and it's already looking like you don't take care of Baylor this week, no way in the world you're going to even sniff the NCAA tournament. I'm just hoping that Coach Oates and this group find some way to get it together, because after starting the season, beating Gonzaga, after starting the season, beating Houston, I just really thought this team would take completely off, but some struggles here for Alabama men's basketball, and kind of hate it because I really like this team and the talent that it has, and the coach that it has, and Coach Oates, and just really would like to see that the guys turn this thing around here. But as we continue here on the show, in my own words, yours truly, Stephen M. Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Another interesting thing here was, so the Saints let go of the Saints allowed Sean Payton to go today. And Sean Payton was the head coach of the Saints for the last 16 years, won a Super Bowl in 2009 with Drew Brees at quarterback. And so there's been a few Tide fans thinking, you know, Sean Payton, the new offensive analyst for Alabama, Nick Saban. And I'm like, Sean Payton, offensive analyst in Tuscaloosa, that's a long shot. I do not see that happening. I mean, If Nick Saban is able to pull Sean Payton to Tuscaloosa as an analyst, I mean, that would be the greatest heist ever. I mean, the greatest heist ever performed, period. But I look at Sean Payton to either take a month or two off of football and have a little small vacation, or go to television for a while as an analyst, whether at ESPN, whether at FS1, go be an analyst for a while and then get back into coaching, or he'll probably find, a couple of NFL jobs to his liking and jump right into there, because he is still one of the biggest offensive minds when it comes down to pro football. But I just thought that was interesting when Sean Payton decided to walk away from the Saints. You got a few Tide fans going, can this be an analyst for Nick Saban? Can this be an offensive analyst for the Crimson Tide? No. I don't see it. I do not see it. Once again, if it happens, biggest heist ever pulled off by Greg Byrne, by Coach Saban and the Board of Trustees. But we go to this topic here, and that being, the Crimson Tide did have 5 alums on the Pro Football Writers Association all-rookie team in the NFL, and those 5 guys: Mac Jones of the New England Patriots, Najee Harris, Pittsburgh Steelers, Jalen Waddle, Miami Dolphins, Christian Barmore, New England Patriots, and Patrick Surtain II of the Denver Broncos. All 5 guys had strong rookie seasons. Mac Jones leading the Patriots back to the playoffs after it missed the postseason in 2020. Jones also set the Patriots single-season record for touchdown passes by a rookie quarterback. Jones, 22 touchdown passes this season. He surpassed Jim Plunkett, who had, I think, 19. I think this was in the 1970s or 80s where Jim Plunkett had that 19, but Mac Jones surpassed Jim Plunkett. Najee Harris for the Steelers, 1,200 yards rushing on the year. The guy had 7 rushing touchdowns. He had over 400 yards receiving with 3 scores, and Najee Harris broke the single-season rushing record for rookie running backs that was held by Franco Harris. So kudos to Najee for getting that done. Jalen Waddle for the Dolphins set the league's rookie record for receptions. He's got 104. He surpassed Anquan Bolden's mark of 101 in 2003 with the Arizona Cardinals. Christian Barmore had a great, strong rookie season on the defensive line for the New England Patriots, creating havoc, creating pressure, getting sacks on the quarterback, making big-time plays in the backfield. Kyle Van Noy, linebacker for New England, really likes the work ethic, the size, the ability, the tools, the potential that Barmore has to be the next great one there in New England. And then Patrick Surtain II, boy, was he a bright spot for the Denver Broncos. Had 14 passes defended on the season, had 4 interceptions, just played big ball, and all Denver needs is a quarterback. I mean, I like Teddy B, I like Teddy Bridgewater, but at some point, Denver, get a quarterback. At some point, John Elway, what are you doing, Elway? Get some type of quarterback over there at Invesco Field, otherwise known as Mile High Stadium in Denver. But Patrick Surtain II, big job there by him this past season. But kudos to all 5 of those guys. Pro Football Writers Association making the NFL all-rookie team. We take a call right here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steve, this is Robert from Chicago. How are you?
Doing great. And yourself, Robert?
I'm doing pretty good. Hey, I got 3 subjects real quick for you. First of all, this kid Gibbs from Georgia Tech, I think we're seriously underestimating his talent. I mean, he's Reggie Bush. And, I think once he gets on the field, people are going to see his elusiveness. He's going to be like a jackrabbit out there. And I think it's really going to be a challenge for Bill O'Brien to utilize him. Him and Chase McClellan, I think, can really add, verticality to our passing game as well as our running game, and particularly in space. Second thing I like to comment on is the tight end position is really critical in the red zone. And when I look at this year's team versus last year's team, they didn't execute as good in the red zone. Now, granted, we had Najee Harris last year, who was particularly elusive out of the backfield with the pass, but Cameron Latu, I think he's a good journeyman tight end. I think he's made a lot of progress. But when you look at the Kansas City Chiefs and a Kelsey, what he brings to the 10-yard line, 20-yard line pass to get in the end zone. I mean, I know he's one in a million, but we need somebody that can be a hybrid of Latu and Billingsley with more consistency and speed. I still think about that Georgia play where Latu got the ball and he was going down the sideline and the corner coming from behind. That means he's running probably a 4.8 40. We need to have a 4.6 40 at tight end to complement Latu. And the last thing is I really like your comments on the secondary. I think Malachi Moore is a great free safety opportunity, as well as your situation with Helms and the dime. I would push back with you on Kyrie Jackson. I'm not sold on him as a man-to-man corner. I think he's good in zone, but I really like to know his 4.6 40. Can he get better than that? I think that's what he's running, and he needs to open up his hips better. So I think Kool-Aid has more upside from a physical standpoint in terms of speed and being able to do man-to-man cover. But as you said, spring training will tell the tape there. But my pushback would be Kyrie. I'm not sold on him yet, and I'm not just based on that Georgia game, but just in general. I think he's more of a zone corner than a man-to-man shutdown type guy like Drake Kirkpatrick or Sertan or some of the other people we've had in the past. So appreciate your comments on any of those subjects. Thanks.
Appreciate Robert from Chicago calling in, sharing those thoughts there. Now, for Jahmyr Gibbs, I mean, we've been hearing Alvin Kamara, and now Robert comes in with the Reggie Bush comparison right there. So now I'm really intrigued to see what Gibbs can do coming in here starting in spring ball for Alabama. Now, at tight end, a good compliment for Latu. Alabama did sign Elijah Brown at tight end. Did sign Amari Black as well. So we'll see which one of those guys, if not both of those guys, can really complement Latu in the passing game. And, of course, the secondary. This spring is going to be exciting just for so many facets, so many reasons, so many factors go into who wants it, right? Who is going to take a starting position? Who's going to dominate in the starting role? Who is going to grab, as Nick Saban likes to say, the bull by the horns, regardless of position, and make it theirs? Who is going to make it theirs? And this March and April going to be so much fun to watch these various positional units here. But we got this call right here coming in. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Well, Stephen, I said I wasn't going to call in tonight. These Georgia fans got me wound up tighter in a 3-day-old clock here, buddy. I'll tell you what, running backwards on batteries that the ass is leaking out of. Y'all better listen here, you Georgia fans. Y'all better get down to Walmart and get y'all one of them snap photos of that damn national championship trophy, because if you don't, you won't never see the damn thing for another 41 years. Boy, I tell you what, we're going to remember Coach Bryant tonight. We love him. Kobe Bryant and his daughter, y'all rest in peace easy. Y'all Georgia fans, they lining up down there at Walmart. Y'all better get down there and get your shirts and hats on. I'll talk to y'all later, everybody in the chat. I love everybody. Bye-bye, everyone.
Appreciate Wagon calling in right there. I mean, it's still you got Georgia is so thrilled and so happy for the first time since 1980 winning that national championship. Now, will they do it again? We shall see. They feel all confident right now, but we shall see what they do. Got to shout out my man Mattress Man of Mobile with that $10 donation, dropping it in the bucket right there. Appreciate the good man Mattress Matt. We take this call here, though. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name, where you're calling from.
Steven, it's your boy Coach Smook, man. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, Senator? What's happening with you?
Man, not much, man. Busy, man. Just been trying to pop my head in and check out all the shows, man. I've been missing a lot of the shows, man. But, bro, when I say I'm very excited and anxious to see what unfolds coming up here in spring ball. Man, I'm telling you, I think we do what we always do. We overhype a lot of stuff, and then we overlook a lot of the main things. And one of the things that I think we're overlooking is, Stephen, that this year, secondary wise, if you look at the top half, we could trust Helms. We could trust battle. You know, we could trust those guys right now. Underneath, I heard my bro Rob was talking about you know, Kyrie and Kool-Aid at corner and Eli Riggs. And honestly, Stephen, I think we're going to have a win by committee type team on both sides of the ball next year. You know, Will Anderson will be getting a crazy amount of attention from opposing defenses next year. So I believe Dallas Turner and some of the guys behind him that are going to be rotating are going to be able to, you know, make their name known. And even on the offensive side, I think a lot of people are going to try to scheme for Bryce to, you know, sit in the pocket more, and that's going to that's going to allow our receivers to, you know, produce production by committee. It's going to allow our offensive line to produce production by. It won't be like a weakness on the left side or the right side. I believe the whole line will be equally as good, whether that's a C plus, B plus offensive line or A plus offensive line, what we're used to at Alabama. But I do have the sense that this team has a different gear and grinding in this off season. I feel like they're going into this off season like they came into the COVID season, that same type of focus and sense of accountability to make up for not meeting the standard or reaching the goal. And there's a sense that this is a player motivated type of thing, which was the same sense we had in 2020. So the future looks bright. I wanted to touch on particular names like Jahmyr Gibbs. I don't think he comes in and takes the number one spot from Jace McClellan. I think of all the backs, even coming off an injury, all the backs in that running back room, the one that Bryce trusts the most and the one that Bill trusts the most is probably Jace. Honestly, Steven, Jace doesn't get hurt, I think we see less carries from B-Rob during the season. You know, Jace and Roydell don't get hurt. We definitely don't see as much carries and as much workload on B-Rob because those guys were our explosive backs. Go back and watch the games. You know, weeks 1 through 4, every explosive run play, not pass play, but every explosive run play came from those two. B-Rob maybe had 1 or 2 against Miami in week 3. I can't remember who exactly we played right now off the top of the head, but yeah, man, that running back room is very interesting to look at. Even if Camar Wheaton leaves, I wasn't on the show earlier. I know I always go back and try, but did he confirm and say he was transferring, or is he just not with the program?
He's just not with the team. He has not entered the transfer portal. Nobody has any information on that, but just not with the team.
Oh, okay. Well, regardless, Stephen, we got way too much talent sitting lying in wait. I didn't get to call in and talk about Jermaine Burton, but nice pickup. But, Stephen, honestly, as a Bama fan and knowing what we have lying in wait, coming in as true freshmen, and the freshmen that didn't get to play that are going to be sophomores, like a Jai Hall, JoJo Earl, all those guys, Stephen, we got way too much talent to be trying to bring in guys from, you know, other schools that's complaining about targets, you know, because Bryce doesn't target a certain person. He targets what's open, you know, and that's what Brock did. Brock got open. So if you come to Bama and you still running half-tail routes and not getting separation from the DBs, then you're not going to get the ball here at Bama either. You know, so this ain't the situation Jamison Williams was in where he was playing with an athletic quarterback who wanted to run first and only could throw a deep ball, you know, in Justin Fields. He actually got to play with a quarterback that knew how to read defenses and knew how to play with him as a receiver. So schematically, Burton's going to have to buy in. And, you know, a lot of the news that's coming from Georgia about him is that he never really bought into, you know, his role as a team player. So hopefully he doesn't come to Bama with that. We know guys like that don't last long. And you just have to wonder, man, why, you know. But good ad. Don't need him. Glad to have him. Hopefully come in and work his tail off. And overall, Stephen, I'm just glad to be a Bama fan. I'm glad to be living on this earth another day. Don't forget, we lost another great 2 years ago in Kobe Bryant. And long live Mamba, man. Long live Kobe. And roll tide to everybody, man. In the chat, Blue Ridge Gang, I love y'all. TD I love y'all. I'm out of here, man.
Appreciate Senator Hines calling in here on a Wednesday. We take this call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steven, it's Mattress Matt calling from Mobile.
Matt,
How are
what's
you
happening, man?
this evening?
Doing good.
Oh man, just I was thinking, if Christian Leary isn't the featured receiver next year, he needs to go in the transfer portal because I want to watch him play. If I can't watch him play at Alabama, I want to watch him play somewhere else. You can talk about a Jai Hall and Ja'Cory Brooks and all them. I guarantee you, I don't know what's going on. There's something going on maybe that we don't know about because I guarantee you, if you put Christian Leary out there, he only had a few carries, and I think he averaged like 12 yards every time they gave him the ball. So put him out there and let him catch the ball. Actually make him your featured receiver and let him catch the ball. Guarantee you he's better than this Burton guy coming in. They just don't. Somebody doesn't like him or something. And I don't. And hey, I'm not even connected. I don't even know the guy. I'm not making money off of him or I don't even know him or his family. But I can tell you this: I've watched and I've analyzed a lot of video, and I've seen the speed that he has versus really good high schools that are big high schools, not little small schools. And he has more speed than anybody I've seen on that team. And I just want to see. I like to see good players play.
I hear you, man. I hear you.
Don't you?
I do too. Yes, absolutely.
What's going on there?
We shall see. With the inside scoop, the inside scoop.
He can't block, right?
He's gotten better there. It's just now this spring we're gonna see him on the field. We're gonna see this spring what he does. I don't know if he gained weight, man. We weren't able to get out to those practices due to with the COVID virus happening. We weren't able to get out there to practice, but I think we're going to see this spring what he's got. We appreciate Mattress Matt for that call. I think Christian Leary is good. I think he's good, but I mean, talk about find somebody that appreciates you the way Mike from Kentucky appreciates Bryce Young and the way Mattress Matt from Mobile appreciates Christian Leary, because two fans that really appreciate their players right there. Gotta love that. We take this call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Man, my name is Russell. How you doing?
Doing great, and yourself?
Oh, I'm rocking, man. Hey, I've had the great privilege of being a locker room reporter with Bama for a few years now, and I can tell you I know exactly what happened in the national championship game. I noticed after the game that this team in particular, everyone's penises are smaller than previous teams. Baba Booey, Howard Stern's penis.
Appreciate that call right there. We take this call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name. Where you calling from?
Stephen M. Smith. This is Justin Riley from Jackson, Mississippi, and quite frankly, I don't know how to follow that call.
I don't know either, Justin. I'm still kind of lost in translation there, but give us your best shot, Justin.
Well, I want to switch gears a little bit. You mentioned Alabama basketball. Been kind of frustrated seeing the potential of this team coming in. We came in hot, and like you said, we beat Gonzaga, we beat Houston, two great programs. But then we go to Memphis, we get boat raced, we get our tail handed to us, and it's like we didn't ever recover mentally. Nothing was ever quite the same. And I was talking to former Bama All-SEC player Kennedy Winston earlier today, and this team closely resembles the team that Alabama had back in 2002, where we were predicted to go to the Final Four, possibly a national championship. And matter of fact, at one point, we ascended to number one in the country for the first time ever in program history. And then we hit this free fall. And this is kind of close to what we're seeing here. Losing to Georgia the other night, or last night, was not a non-negotiable loss. It could not happen, because if you look down the stretch, it's quite hellacious. And looking at it, in order for us to make the tournament, I think at most we need to only come away with one loss, if not having to win all of them. But I'm not really sure what's going on there. These guys are talented. I'm not sure if it's a situation where we just have a lot of young guys and it's just not clicking. They're not gelling. But you mentioned something before. It may come down to leadership. We lost some very good leaders from this previous team. So that's just my thoughts.
Appreciate Justin Riley for calling in. And my thing is, I just want to see Nate Oates get this solved, because I remember after the game, he was frustrated in the locker room. He looked like he was defeated. He looked like he was hurt, in the locker room following that game. And you don't normally see Coach Oates look or sound like that. He's normally spunk, he's spry, he's up, he's juiced. You see him talk with a lot of energy, with a lot of focus there. So hopefully, he and this team can stir this ship around a little bit. But we take this call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steven. This is Kyron from Albuquerque. That's Kyran. How you doing?
Doing great, my man. How you feeling?
Pretty good. So I got on kind of late this evening, so hopefully you didn't cover this already. But one thing I hope to see going forward in the spring and next fall is we got to see some kind of Jalen Milroe. I mean, we know he's not going to start, but to me that kid seems too good just to sit on the bench for another season. Hopefully they'll get him a few series, a few packages going forward. I can see that may be hard with you have a returning Heisman Trophy winner, but I'm excited to see what he can really do. So hopefully, we can see more of him going forward. And also, I agree with a previous caller that you had. I don't particularly think we needed the guy from Georgia. And I kind of fear going forward, after the spring, we'll have a couple of receivers, probably transfer. I hope that doesn't happen, but, we have a lot of young talent, as well as a lot of young receivers coming in, freshmen. So I kind of just fear that, with the addition of Burton, it's kind of like hot shotting, I guess you could say, where kind of hot shotting a car just to make it work for a while. I just would like to see the coaching staff just have more faith in and put in more effort with the young receivers we already have. That's all I just wanted to say. And I'm the first season I listened to your show, and you quickly became my favorite show, so thanks.
Appreciate the call right there. And so getting back to his point on first and foremost on Jalen Milroe, and I mentioned this is going to be a very big spring for Milroe, because he's got the talent as a 4-star from Texas entering his sophomore season. This is going to be a big spring for him to prove that he's the guy behind Bryce Young. Ty Simpson's in here. A lot of the attention on him, 5-star, Gatorade Player of the Year, coming from Tennessee. A lot of focus is going to be on him because people are enamored by the freshness, the newness, the shininess that Simpson brings in here. But Milroe's got that chip on his shoulder. Milroe wants to prove, hey, 4-star, big-time talent, dual-threat quarterback for a reason, coming from Texas. I can run that football, but I can also be accurate, targeting receivers downfield in stride, throwing that football. So I think this is going to be a really good spring to watch the development and the maturation of Milroe. Where is he in year number 2? But we take a break right here, folks, on the show. Don't touch that dial. When we get back, we get into my first mock draft in terms of this crop of Bama players entering April's venue, that being the NFL Draft. We tidy up loose ends with that after this.
If
If you're an avid Alabama Crimson Tide fan and you love to flaunt it, then show your Alabama Crimson Tide support by grabbing the All Bama sneakers. They feature bold Crimson Tide graphics, so no one will be able to question where your allegiance lies. When you add these sweet sneakers to your Alabama Crimson Tide collection, go to stsfootwear.com and use the code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. That's code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. Go to stsfootwear.com and get your All Bama sneakers today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, people, we're back in from the break. Number one forum for Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen M. Smith, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Appreciate all of you writing in, calling in, texting in, chatting in, donating in, making this your show, your network, your platform, your channel. Appreciate my man John Ivory in the production studio as well. And as always, people, got to remind you of TDAwear.com. That's TDAwear.com. So if you're trying to get the best gear supporting your team, the Crimson Tide, and supporting your brand that gives you nonstop Bama football entertainment, that being us right here at TDA, you got to check out TDAwear.com. We got your shirts, we've got your joggers, we got your hoodies, we got all the clothes, we got your white tees, all the clothes you crave, all the styles you crave in supporting your team and supporting your brand that gives you the Alabama football news the way you like it. You check us out, TDAwear.com. That's TDAwear.com. You go there right now, show that support for Coach Saban, the University of Alabama, the student athletes, and us here at Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Gotta shout out Jimmy the Bad Man Clay with that $10 donation, helping us out here on the show. Appreciate the support they're coming from Jimmy Clay. But now we have made it to this time of the year, people, where mock drafts are happening. These reporters, pundits, NFL draft evaluators, they're now putting out these mock drafts. Your Todd McShays, your Mel Kiper Jr.'s, your Bucky Brooks, your Daniel Jeremiah's. Everybody is putting out these mock drafts, trying to see where will this next wave of collegiate talent go? Where will it land in terms of April's NFL draft? So we're going to get into my mock draft here, and I put on my evaluation hat to see where I feel like these particular young men will lie in terms of Alabama football. So here we go. First round, number one overall pick to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Give me Evan Neal. Come on down. Evan Neal, number one overall pick. I'm going to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence needs protection. Now, Jacksonville already has Cam Robinson. Now, it has a chance to keep Cam Robinson or maybe trade him. I say you keep Cam Robinson and then you draft Evan Neal. So that way you got your right tackle and you got your left tackle to help Trevor Lawrence grow, develop there as a quarterback. Evan Neal this past season and throughout his career did an unbelievable job protecting, did not allow sacks. Evan Neal did not allow sacks to whether it was Mac Jones or if it was Bryce Young. Did not allow the quarterback to hit the ground coming off his side. We're talking about a young man that played in near 40 career games, or probably even over 40 career games in his tenure in Tuscaloosa from 2019 to this past year. So number one overall pick in the first round of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Give me Evan Neal. Staying in the first round, we go down 20 picks to the 21st pick in the first round to those New England Patriots. Give me Jameson Williams. He goes right here. The New England Patriots desperately need receivers. I like Jacoby Myers. I like Kendrick Bourne, don't get me wrong. Nelson Aguilar, you can do without him. You can do without Aguilar. But New England needs guys that can catch the ball. There were so many times this past season where Mac Jones will put the ball right there and receivers were dropping it, alligator arms, butterfingers, whatever you want to call it. They could not catch the football. So Bill Belichick, get your hands on Jameson Williams, first round, number 21 overall. Get him for Mac Jones so he can get receiver that can not only catch the ball, but that can turn, get upfield, and create big plays at the next level. So Jameson Williams, first round pick, number 21 overall. I got him to the New England Patriots. Moving on here to the second round here, where we pick up one John Mechie. John Mechie, I got him to the Philadelphia Eagles in that second round. And kind of the same deal here. The Eagles, you've got a Devontae Smith, but Jalen Reagor struggles with drops out of TCU. You put a John Mechie with a Jalen Hurts. Now you got that 1-2 punch. Now you got that 1-2 tandem of Smitty and Mechie in Philly with the Eagles. Got to have that going right there. Mechie this past season, 96 receptions, led the team, 1,142 receiving yards, did have 8 touchdowns, despite the fact that he got hurt in the SEC championship game against Georgia. He is an all-around, complete, compact receiver. He's got the size, he's got some speed, he's got hands, he's got routes, all-around playmaker. You get him to Philadelphia, you put him with Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith, could have you something right there. John Mechie, I got him second round to the Eagles. Continuing with the second round, this goes to one Brian Robinson. So B-Rob in the second round at running back. Give me the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins need a back. They got 2 small guys with Myles Gaskin and Savon Ahmed. I like both of them, but Tua needs a power back. You got to have a power back. And after Miami couldn't get or didn't get a Najee Harris, getting a Brian Robinson, this will be the move right here at 6'1", 225 pounds. B-Rob, the patience, waiting his time, waiting his moment for 5 years. And this past season, took advantage of it. First 1,000-yard year for B-Rob, 14 rushing touchdowns. He did improve his stock, catching the ball as a receiver out the backfield. We know he's a really good pass blocker. So from Miami, when you get the new head coach into the fold, look at Brian Robinson's second round. It'll be a good move right there. Got him going to the Dolphins. Moving on, continuing with that second round, we go down to one Fidarian Mathis. Big Phil, Big Five. Give me the Baltimore Ravens. This has Ravens written all over it for me where Phil Mathis is concerned, and he elevated his stock on the defensive line this past season. Had 9 sacks on the year, double-digit tackles for loss. Will Anderson got the bulk of attention, and rightfully so. But on that line, Phil Mathis was batting passes. Phil Mathis was stuffing the run. Phil Mathis getting after the quarterback. Phil Mathis forcing fumbles. He was doing different things to have NFL scouts go, hey, this Phil Mathis, this 48, you got to look at this guy. This cat does something different every single week. You got to look at him. And he's going to go down to Mobile, Senior Bowl, going to play well in there. Looking forward to seeing what he does in the NFL scouting combine. But if I'm the Baltimore Ravens and John Harbaugh, I take a good look, second round, Phil Mathis, get him for that defensive front. But that's just the second round right there. Going on down to the third round, we pick up Jalen Armour Davis, corner, Green Bay Packers is why I'm feeling for JAD. Third round to Green Bay. And Armour Davis was the most consistent corner the Tide had in 2021. I mean, shared the team lead in interceptions with 3, had 4 pass breakups. He was a solidly graded corner according to Pro Football Focus. Now, of course, he dealt with some injuries in his career, but healthy now, good now, solid now, 6'1", 6'2", near 200-pound corner. A guy that when he first came to Alabama in 2018, Coach Saban was all over him, size, length, athleticism, ball skills, instincts, intelligence, the way he's able to have a feel for playing that cornerback position. And when you look at Green Bay, what are the Packers known for? They're known for getting specialists, right? Specialists, savvy guys, lockdown guys that can play their role, that can play their spot. J.A.D. is a guy that can play that role, can play that spot, a veteran presence, a guy that could really, I think he would fit Green Bay. I think in that third round, he would really fit the Packers there. So I got him right there in that third round to Green Bay. Fourth round here is where we pick up Christian Harris to the Minnesota Vikings. I know what you're thinking. Steven, you got Christian Harris, a Louisiana boy, going in the cold of Minnesota. Well, going Vikings just due to his position. And I think Christian Harris as a weak side linebacker, blitzing, weak side linebacker stopping the run, weak side linebacker playing in those coverage lanes. I think he may end up being an even bigger pro than a college player. He's going to have to get in the right system, and I think Minnesota has that system for him to shine and grow and be successful. Now, quite honestly, I would have loved to have seen Harris come back another year to work his way into that top 10 pick money, that top 10 range money, but I guess he felt like, hey, done enough in 3 years. I've accomplished enough in 3 years. The coaching staff has helped me enough in 3 years. Let me go make this NFL bank right here. But fourth round, Minnesota Vikings, watch that right there. Could really see them picking up Christian Harris. Going now to the fifth round, where we got Josh Jobe, cornerback, going to the Chicago Bears. Bears need secondary help. Bears need corners. Bears need DBs. And Jobe, another one that probably, well, more than likely should have came back, had the turf toe injury to end the year and had to deal with the foot surgery there. And, Jobe up and down at the corner position all season. The potential has always been there for Jobe. It's, physical corner at 6'1", but, just inconsistent for much of his career. But you get him into the right NFL system, maybe he hits, maybe he sparks, maybe he could become special, maybe he's big time. So fifth round, Chicago Bears need defensive backs. Got him going right there. Also in that fifth round, Slade Blade Bolden to the New England Patriots. Now, I thought sixth round New England, but I could see New England in that fifth round making the move. And the reason why I can see the Patriots doing this, Slade Bolden, Mac Jones, great friends. And Bill O'Brien probably on the phone with Coach Saban, talking to me about the Slade guy. Mac Jones is always talking about the Slade Bolden that he played with at Alabama. What's the story on Slade? What's the scoop on Slade, Coach Saban? Do you think we should make this move in picking Slade Bolden? So I can see Bolden in the fifth round to New England. He had over 400 yards receiving this past season, 3 touchdown catches. So Slade there, fifth round to the New England Patriots. Now, in terms of guys that may not get drafted, they could get drafted, but may not possibly get drafted, we have this list here of starting off with Chris Allen. Chris Allen is somebody whom I wanted to see come back. Only 1 year of healthy tape he's got for NFL scouts and draft evaluators. And that was the 2020 season where 13 tackles for loss and 6 sacks. He got hurt first game of last season in the opener against Miami. So don't know if a team is going to really reach in the draft to get that. To get him, somebody could, but I more so see him going undrafted and going the undrafted free agency route. Hopefully, a team signs him. He becomes a star for that franchise. And you look at Chris Owens, kind of the same ordeal. He's got talent, but that right tackle position for Alabama was never solved. It took him 6 years to become a starter on the offensive line. And, some moments he played pretty well. Some moments, guys were beating him, getting to Bryce Young and sacking Bryce Young. So really don't see Chris Owens getting drafted. He'll make a practice squad. Somebody will give him a call. He'll make a practice squad somewhere. Maybe he gets elevated to an active roster. We'll see, but don't really see Chris Owens getting drafted to a pro team here in April. And then you look at LeBron Ray, and my heart really goes out to him because came in 2017 as a 5-star out of high school, just so much promise, but injuries took LeBron Ray. Whether it was shoulder injuries, knee injuries, foot injuries, ankle injuries, the injuries just seemed to find LeBron Ray, and it's unfortunate. Now, of course, he will play in the East-West Shrine Bowl, so maybe that could be a launch pad for him. Don't see him getting drafted. He can make a practice squad, hopefully, grow from there. And then last but not least, Daniel Wright, and this is if Daniel Wright does not return to Alabama for his 5th season, because he came in the 2017, or 5th, or I think, 6th season since he came in that 2017 class. And Wright actually started to thrive in that dime linebacker safety hybrid role this past year. So if he chooses to remain with the Crimson Tide, he has not made a decision yet, then Wright would be back in Alabama. But if he has chosen to go to the NFL or pursue the pros, another one that could end up being, a practice squad player, maybe find his way on a roster to being a core special teams guy before he gets put into any type of defensive role, defensive package. So I wish the best for a Chris Allen, a Chris Owens, a LeBron Ray, and a Daniel Wright, but we will see what happens. But that's just my mock draft there, folks. My mock draft for these Alabama players going into the NFL draft, pursuing pro careers. But as always, Bama fans, you want the best in news, notes, information, and coverage on your favorite program, that being the Crimson Tide. You can get this by accessing the Touchdown Alabama Magazine app. You download the app from the iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store if you got the Android phone. For your audio needs, we got you right here. iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, Overcast.fm, or iHeartRadio. Got you covered right there. Google Play as well. Fans, as always, you can purchase individual copies of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Have those sent to your door. That link will be found in the description. If you want the fresh edition, print edition of TDA, the magazine, you go to touchdownalabama.com, you click join, become a member, a subscriber today. That link in the description too. Also, if you're trying to get that 4-finger bling necklace, 4-finger bling jewelry, courtesy of our guys at WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. That's WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. That link in the description as well. Guys, shout out Donnie Chappelle with that $19.99 in the Super Chats. Donnie Chappelle showing love here to us on the show. But until next time, folks, husbands, love your wives. Wives, appreciate, value those husbands, children. With school being back in, continue doing the right thing, fun thing, smart thing, legitimate thing, to not be bored. You grab you those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. You protect yourself. You protect the loved ones around you. Until next time, folks, I'm your man, Stephen M. Smith, and as always, you've been listening to In My Own Words.